Very good morning to you, 7 a.m., Monday, August 18th, 2025. It's looking dark out. I just said to Mike a second ago, I said, I looked outside, and Pam, our wonderful director, excuse me, I looked outside as I was coming to the studio here and I said, ooh, this has a very fall-like look out there. Anyway, welcome to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato taking calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Cloudy, definitely cooler, less humid today. Highs making it to about the mid to upper 70s. We head to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the first check of the Garden State forecast. Mike, Mother Nature has a funny way of saying, I'm here.
Uh-huh. It almost feels like fall too when you step outside. Those cool breezes ushering in. Yes, a little bit of a less humid feel and obviously very dark as compared to mornings past. So the clouds that are hanging low across New Jersey making it feel quite cool right now. Temperatures in the mid 60s. We're running about 5 to 7 degrees cooler across northern New Jersey. Still a bit warm right now across central and southern parts of the state. But look at this, the lower humidity, the dew points dropping quickly after that rain last night, down to 48 degrees right now in Sussex. So it is much, much cooler, but it's a tale of two stories. Still feels like summer down the shore. So if you're waking up this morning in Cape May, you feel all of that humidity. There are the storms last night. That's the front finally making its way through New Jersey, starting to clear out some of the high clouds, but there are some low clouds right now, which we'll see on the visible satellite shortly. As far as the winds, they're out of the north and east. That keeps the clouds around for the first part of the day. And then we see the clouds clear by this afternoon, helping temperatures rise across northern New Jersey later today. So it will brighten up later on this afternoon. Just take some time. It's like, the sunshine is sleeping in on a Monday morning. 74 degrees this afternoon at 1 o'clock p.m. That is a very cool start to the day. Even down the shore, holding in the low 70s. So a much more respectable feel in terms of temperatures, not that insane heat that we've become so accustomed to this summer. And then you see the dividing line right there along 195 throughout this evening, with those clouds across most of southern New Jersey for the rest of the day today. Of course, the clearing happens across northern New Jersey. I think our next chance of rain probably happens till Wednesday, so we get a good decent day on Tuesday. There are those showers passing through midweek, and then we turn our attention to Hurricane Erin, because by then, right now, a Category 4 storm with maximum sustained winds of 130 miles per hour. It takes that right turn, stays offshore. We get the waves, and I mean waves big enough to close beaches this week, especially by Thursday and Friday, when those big waves will be just offshore from us here in New Jersey. Cooler tomorrow, 76 degrees, staying in the 70s for Wednesday, and then we warm back into the low 80s, Ken, by Thursday. We'll talk more about Erin's track and its intensity, how it rapidly intensified over the weekend. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
Yeah, that's we were talking about this like from a month or two ago, right? How warm the water is
Yep.
in that area, and that's the gasoline, right, for these hurricanes. All they need is that warm water and to get a little sunshine, and that's it.
Yeah,
A degree or two difference. So yeah, we
exactly. There
definitely
were
see
also
that.
not a lot of those winds that tend to shear off the tops of the cloud, so the cloud was free to grow right up to the top of the tropic, breaking into the stratosphere to allow for
Man.
that to form.
And I saw, I'm sure you did. I saw some of the video over the weekend from the hurricanes hunters, the ones
Yeah.
that go into the eye of the storm.
Hmm.
Brave people they are. And it's just, I guess, once you're in the eye, it's as calm as could be, right? It's it's when you go through the clouds again to get out. It's like in your
Right.
plane. You better know
Exactly.
what you're doing.
And to
But to
see
see
how
that,
high they right, and they fly so high at such a high altitude,
wow.
and yet the top of that stadium dome effect was so much higher than them. It was wild to see.
See how crisp and form that eye was? It was just, it
Hmm.
was like just shaved perfectly.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
pretty scary. So, all right, let's hope the fish enjoy it. Keep it there, but you never know, right? Always keep an eye out because you
Sure.
never know. All right, Mike, thank you so much, sir. We will check back with you. It is 65 degrees, nice and cool. It really is a beautiful, I mean, it's cloudy, but it's a fresh morning. You go outside, if you're going out for a walk right now or to walk the dog or something, or or if your kids are back at school already, some are this early. Um, It's crisp and fresh, let's put it that way. As of this morning, right now, we have a crash on I-80 eastbound at exit 47B, which is US 46 in Parsippany Troy Hills. The right shoulder is closed, but we just took a look at the cameras. We're not seeing any delays yet, but just to let you know, that could tend to build as people drive by in either direction. They stop, they rubberneck, they look. Sometimes a secondary accident occurs as a result. They hit their brakes. So you know the deal. We have a malfunctioning traffic light, Route 23 northbound by Echo Lake Road in West Milford. All lanes are open, but people are tapping their brakes through there. Hudson River crossings right now. The Lincoln and Holland are both just 10 minutes. We look at the GWB approach, and there are delays now, we're told, on the GWB lower level from the Jersey side going over with about a 20-minute travel time. So it's just after these pictures. This picture is about 2.5 miles before the New York side. So you figure once you pass that point, it's maybe another 1,500 feet or so, and then they're hitting some traffic. Again, if you're going on the GWB to go over, take the, well, actually here now. Yeah, it's saying that I'm sorry, we just got an update live on the air here. So it's saying the upper level is 25 minutes from I-95 and I-80, and then it says the lower level is 20 minutes. So your better bet is the lower level, which would be on the left side. That'll save you about 5 minutes in. Sorry to get so specific, but that's what we do. 7:06 right now, and we did have tragedy in Belmar, a tragic incident claiming the life of a 13-year-old. This happened on Friday. Police got 911 calls about 6:30 in the evening, reporting a swimmer in distress at the 8th Avenue beach in Belmar. The teen was found unresponsive off of 7th Avenue by the 7th Avenue beach about an hour later. So the water took that young person out about a block and a half. Despite life-saving efforts by lifeguards and paramedics, the victim was pronounced dead at Jersey Shore University Hospital. The incident now under investigation. 7:07, and 3 people were killed, 9 others hurt when up to 4 gunmen opened fire in a possible gang-related shooting at a Brooklyn hookah lounge early yesterday morning. It was the second mass shooting in the city in weeks. Cops responded to calls of a shooting inside the Taste of the City Lounge in Crown Heights just before 3:30 in the morning.
Dispute inside the crowded club that led to the shooting. We believe that there were up to 4 shooters involved in this incident. Our crime scene investigators have now recovered 42 shell casings from multiple guns. The shell casings appear to be from 9mm and .45 caliber weapons. At this time, no one is in custody, and the shooting preliminarily appears to be gang-related.
The police commissioner there, and the club was packed when the bullets flew in. Mind you, it was 3:30 in the morning. Detectives later found, as the commissioner said, 42 shell casings. It must have been raining bullets in there. It's amazing that just that number got shot, but that was still a huge number. The shooting was apparently sparked by a dispute between, get this, a 19-year-old and a 35-year-old, with the older man, the 35-year-old, a suspected member of a gang called the Folk Nations Gang. The 9 injured victims, 6 men, 3 women, all taken to local hospitals with what cops say were non-life-threatening injuries. Many of them diving under tables and whatnot got injured in the process. But 4 people killed in that horrible incident. This is what happens when you get stupid people, gangbangers with guns who don't give a damn about everybody else around them. It's just as long as they get their target. That's, if you're in the way, who cares if you die? I don't care. My goal is to get that person. This is what happens when literally you have parentless situations, kids growing up, they search for a gang. The gang gives them the solace that they want. And the gang leader tells them, you are to do this. And this is what happens. Very sad. Doesn't have to be that way, by the way. If we had some real allowance of law enforcement in the city of New York, like they're now doing in D.C. 7:09 in Teaneck, a massive tree branch fell on Sussex and Churchill roads Thursday morning, seriously injuring 2 women who got trapped beneath it. Crews used chainsaws to free them. Both are expected to survive. A third woman suffered minor injuries, while a father and daughter in a nearby car were unharmed. The cause of the branch's fall from a private property tree remains unclear. Neighbors now urging tree safety checks as crews work to remove the tree. And a tragic incident in New Jersey claiming the life of 76-year-old Tong Bue Wong Bandu, who fell and fatally injured himself while rushing to meet, now listen carefully, Big Sis Billy. Not a real human being. He thought it was. It was a Meta AI chatbot that he believed was a real woman in New York City. The cognitively impaired senior was lured by the bot's flirtatious messages, despite family pleas to stay home. New York's Governor Kathy Hochul called for stricter chatbot regulations, urging Congress to mandate disclosures that AI is not human. Meta has not commented on the death. 710, a 46-year-old Brereton Township woman has been sentenced to 20 years in prison for the fatal stabbing of her housemate, 66-year-old Stephen Spivey. Dominique Preston pleaded guilty to first-degree aggravated manslaughter in June, admitting to the attack that occurred in their shared home on Manchester Road last February. She now must serve 17 years before being eligible for parole. In Howell, a tragic crash claiming the life of 45-year-old Christine Suter. Monmouth County Prosecutor Raymond Santiago reports that Suter's sedan veered off Route 547, striking Bob's Deli and Grill Sunday morning. It was about 9:50 in the morning, just before 10 a.m. this happened. The vehicle crossing the median parking lot as well before hitting the building. Suter suffered numerous injuries and passed away, sadly, on Tuesday. The cause of the crash remains undisclosed, and this marks the 11th fatal crash in Monmouth County this year, according to state police. It is now 7:11 in Ramsey. 25-year-old Ryan Curtin, police say, an employee at Tiger Schulman's martial arts gym on Route 17, is now facing charges of invasion of privacy. Bergen County prosecutors say that there was a hidden camera discovered in the women's restroom at the gym in April. After months of investigating, Curtin was arrested last Wednesday, is being held at Bergen County Jail, and authorities continue to investigate. Well, residents in New Jersey will see a tiny bit of relief on their electric bills this fall, as the state's Board of Public Utilities approved a $100 credit for customers of Atlantic City Electric, PSE&G, JCP&L, and Rockland Electric. So you'll get two $50 credits. The first one will appear in September, the second in October. No action required. It'll just automatically be applied to your bill. And this follows a 17 to 20% price hike. Some people are saying it's 300%, depending on who you are and where you are, due to last year's power auction and grid stress. Well, why was there a power auction and grid stress? They don't tell you this. It's because the Democrats in Trenton decided over the last few years it would be a good idea to shut down 6 perfectly good, perfectly functioning power plants throughout the Garden State because they hate fossil fuels and they think we're killing Mother Earth and killing the planet. So apparently the answer is just buy fossil fuels from all the neighboring states at 3 times the cost. That's not the solution, morons. That doesn't do it. So the goal was to have green energy plants built by the time that they shut down those plants. They didn't get any of them built, but they still went ahead like the morons that they are and shut down 5 fossil fuel plants and 1 nuclear plant, all of which worked fine. Now there's talk about building new nuclear plants. Well, why didn't you just keep the one that was there open and do a little refurbishment? No, let's just keep spending trillions of New Jersey residents' dollars that don't exist, as we're like billions in debt right now. This is the way Democrats think in Trenton. It's not their money. They don't give a damn. They don't care about you. Next time you go to vote, remember, this was Democrats. They control the Assembly. They control the Senate. They control the governorship. They control the Supreme Court in the state. They have both Senate seats and 10 of the 12 U.S. House seats. All Democrat. Every major city in the state of New Jersey controlled by a Democrat mayor, Democrat council. So just remember that. You are the one. Don't say, why is my power bill 300% higher? It's so damn expensive. It's all your fault. You keep voting Democrat or you stay home on election day. Your fault. Governor Murphy says the move ensures affordability amid rising energy costs. Thank you, Governor. It's your fault we have rising energy costs. Customers can also explore relief programs like the Universal Service Fund, which, by the way, you and I pay for out of our taxes, just so you know. So they take the money from your taxes and help you out that way. 7:14, a federal judge has dismissed a lawsuit by New Jersey parents challenging the state's practice of retaining newborn blood samples from mandatory disease screenings. U.S. District Court Judge Georgette Kastner ruled Friday that storing these blood spots, as they're called, does not violate parents' constitutional rights under the 14th or 4th Amendments. Of course, a liberal judge would think that. You're not entitled to anything that is yours or from you or your children. It's all about the state. The parents from Boonton and Cranberry argued the state needs informed consent to store blood from your baby that comes out of your body. Why is it that liberals say, my body, my choice? It's all about you making a choice about your body when it comes to killing the baby with abortion. But when that baby comes out and is born, the state suddenly has a right over your body and your choice to take the blood. If you're liberal, don't you see the craziness in that, to think both at the same time? Don't you? Liberals are literally the most hypocritical, illogical people. Illogical. When I was a debater in high school and college, I remember I used to debate my liberal friends, and within 10 seconds, I used to beat their argument, because it's all about emotion and feelings under the circumstances. There's no logic. The patterns don't hold true all the way through. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky heads into a high-stakes White House meeting with President Donald Trump today as Washington considers security guarantees for Kyiv, and debate intensifies over whether land concessions to Russia could end the war. Zelensky will be flanked by key European allies at the White House, a diplomatic overture that signals Europe's determination to rally behind Ukraine. Over the weekend, the Ukrainian leader acknowledged his last White House visit cut short by that shouting match between Trump and VP J.D. Vance, and told reporters in Brussels that he hopes Monday's meeting will be productive rather than a repeat of February's encounter. Hey, Volodymyr, that's up to you, pal. You're going to meet the leader of the free world. Tuck your attitude in your pocket, okay, when you're going to meet the president of the free world, whom we voted for by the majority in this country. The upcoming meeting comes on the heels of Trump's summit with Russian leader Vladimir Putin in Anchorage on Friday, where the U.S. leader shifted from demanding a ceasefire to calling for a final peace deal. 7:16. When we come back, New Jersey Globe editor David Wildstein will have the latest on New Jersey's political scene with the Inside Edge. Cloudy, cooler, and less humid today, highs mid to upper 70s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta returns with your full Garden State forecast, and we'll take calls at 888-658-0234. You're watching on New Jersey Mornings. Don't go away. Hello there. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings for your Monday. I'm Ken Rosato. It is 7:18. Taking calls at 888-658-0234. Cloudy, cooler, less humid today. Highs upper 70s. Right to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Mike Favetta is coming. Good morning. Meteorologist Mike Favetta is on the way.
Juggle, tap dance, tap dance. Tap. Oh, there we go. Hi, Mike. I was just doing a little tap dance and juggle.
I saw it. Was great. It was a little jazz. You know, you're missing the cane and the tap.
Jazz hands. That's why they fired me from radio, just so you know. One of about 12 reasons.
It's all good. It's all good. No, I like.
We won't talk about the incident.
We like to do a little voiceover, right? Little voiceover in the morning, a soothing, dulcet tone to get you going on what looks to be a pretty cloudy day here in New Jersey, Ken. So we're starting off a little gray, but we turn sunny later on this afternoon, especially across northern New Jersey with those calm breezes right now across interior sections of the coast. A little breezy this morning, so it's that cool, refreshing breeze to get you going. I see a lot of the pumpkin spice out in the coffee shops across New Jersey. This is the kind of weather that goes along with it. So yeah, even though the calendar still says August, it still feels a little bit warmer. Not much of a heat index today. However, there were some showers that came through late last night. Probably some wet car tops across southern New Jersey this morning as the last of the rains came across, just after 4 or 5 a.m. Some of that wildfire smoke still burning. These are from a lot of the wildfires here in out west, mostly Montana and Colorado, going right across the country. But this, again, is a light smoke. Shouldn't be too much of a concern for us today. We have our rain that moved out last night. Clouds to start the day, but a little bit of clear sky working in for later on this afternoon as well as tomorrow. I think northern New Jersey gets the most of the brunt of the sunshine today. So we're at a 7, which is high, especially for later on this afternoon. Look how low these dew points are, feeling quite pleasant, going to start off the rest of the morning into the afternoon. And it stays reasonably dry, even with that comfortable feel. Probably switch off the AC tonight and allow those cooler fall-like breezes come in and make it feel quite nice. Now, doesn't last long because again, it is still August. So we're back to the very humid feel come Thursday, and that mugginess sticks around into Thursday and Friday and even gets into more of an uncomfortable level of heat index by the end of the week. So even for tomorrow, we're feeling like we're back in the 70s. And then for Wednesday, overall, another round of mild weather. So for Friday, this wall of clouds you see here, that's the western edge of Erin as it stays offshore. So it's one to watch, especially with its track that keeps deviating closer to the US. But again, I think it's just the wave heights that'll be the big concern. I'll show you the wave heights coming up next to show you just how impressive those wave heights are. One model takes it in, but again, the majority, and this is what the scientists at the National Hurricane Center look at, all of these other, the majority of them take them out to sea, especially by the middle of the week. So with our forecast looking very pleasant for the upcoming weekend, we're dry yet again for Saturday, 85 degrees, a little bit cooler than this past weekend, but a little bit more humidity working in with the southwesterly breeze, 84 on Sunday. So another pleasant weekend ahead, Ken. Wrapping up summer with a really nice feel. This will be the last weekend before Labor Day, if you can believe it.
I'm not going to
I
say a
know.
word.
I know.
I'm
It's
very
true.
upset. You just put me
It
into a
is.
depressive, sad, like I just got pit in my stomach sad when you just said that. But okay, I guess I got to continue or else I won't have it. Pam is saying we'll have a party. Pam loves the cool weather. Go ahead. This is like a yin and yang thing. This is just going to go
Mm-hmm.
on. I don't know. I'm getting a little upset. I'm just saying. Okay. All right. We'll check back, Mike. Thank you, sir. Labor Day. I don't like Labor Day. Checking traffic. This is something else I don't like. We have an issue on I-280. This is in East Orange. Let's take a look. I-280 eastbound west of exit 12, which is the Garden State Parkway. Look at this as people are driving into this. The people on the left side of the road, they're the ones heading eastbound. This is just, again, west of exit 12 as we have an overturned vehicle, and that is causing that right there on your screen. That's causing the buildup of traffic on I-280 in East Orange. We also have a downed tree. It's on the Garden State Parkway, local lanes northbound, south of exit 109, Route 520 in Tinton Falls. We'll try to get a camera shot for you that just popped up. We'll try to get that the next time out. The right lane and shoulder are blocked, causing some delays. We have a water main break on Route 182 northbound by East Avenue in Hackettstown. All lanes are open. Slow down through there. Crash on I-80 eastbound at exit 47B, Route 46, Parsippany Troy Hills with the right shoulder closed. And a malfunctioning traffic light, Route 23 northbound by Echo Lake Road in West Milford. All lanes are open. Just be careful through that area. Pam, did you say that's what you passed? Oh, our director Pam said, I was there wondering why the people just weren't moving. The traffic light is out. So everybody's just kind of going, maybe it'll come on. Maybe it'll come on. No, just pass with caution. Remember, allow the people who arrive to your right to go first, come to a complete stop. If you get there first, start to slowly move. Why do I have to remind people of this? Whatever. It is what it is. I always find people who just, they don't know the rules. They forgot. It was in high school, Ken. Why should I remember? Take a look at the Hudson River crossings right now. Lincoln and Holland both moving well. The GWB, we are told there is, and I see nothing on the camera there, but we are still told that there are delays, it says here. I guess maybe this is old. And this says there's 20 minutes of travel time. This is according to the NJ 511. They're saying there's 20 minutes of travel time. Who are you going to believe? Me or your own lion eyes? 20 minutes on the lower level, 25 minutes on the upper level. So your better bet is that left side, your lower level. Easy to get into Manhattan. 724, and a group of Congress members, led by Congressman Frank Pallone, is challenging the Trump administration's efforts to keep Alina Habba as U.S. Attorney, arguing that that violates the Preserving United States Attorney Independence Act. The group filed a brief urging a Pennsylvania federal judge to reject Habba's appointment, citing unconstitutional maneuvers to extend her tenure. A hearing Friday will decide if Habba can prosecute cases amid claims that her actions target Democrats like Newark Mayor Ross Baraka. A ruling is expected next week. It's funny how the Democrats didn't seem to have the same reaction when federal judges were targeting President Trump, but now, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. 725, a New Jersey's PBS faces layoffs after significant budget cuts, with Congress eliminating funding to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and the state legislature slashing funding by 75%. Do you remember when the folks at Doge and President Trump said that they were going to slash the spending, that many people on the left said, no big deal. It's only like 3 or 4% of our funding. We get all of our money from donations, which ostensibly said that the people love and support PBS. Well, apparently that was BS, because they're getting the majority of their money from your taxes. And you know that there's a constitution, or it violates technically the Constitution, that the federal government in any way owns any part of a broadcasting institution, because that gives government control over speech and propaganda, etc. Yet that's the reason why they set up the Corporation for Public Broadcasting to begin with, as an intermediary, so that the federal government and the state governments would put money into that, and then that would finance the TV and radio stations that are public broadcasting, to kind of have that intermediary. Well, guess what? There are hundreds, thousands of TV and radio stations that survive because they work hard, produce a good product, and sell advertising. So that's the way we make our money. PBS literally had a budget that was 5 times what all the other TV and radio stations have. All government money. They were wasting left and right, and they were picking sides when it comes to politics. And now that they get their budget cut, now they're crying boo-hoo. I'm sorry, maybe you'll lose Kermit the Frog. Somehow something tells me that somebody else, like Cartoon Network and whatnot, will come up with their own version, and we will not need PBS. If you can't survive with donations, then maybe the people don't really give a damn about your existence. Just saying. WNET Newark CEO Neil Shapiro announced the reduction of the NJ Spotlight News team. Though the number of affected jobs remains undisclosed, the station plans on shifting toward a more digital-focused future while continuing to serve New Jersey. You should have done that 25 years ago, by the way, just saying. You saw the writing on the wall with the broadcast industry. This follows a previous round of 7 layoffs in March. 727, time for politics from Trenton. Explain like nobody else can do it. Here's New Jersey Globe editor David Wildstein with the Inside Edge.
Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, August 18th. Welcome to the Inside Edge. One of the most bizarre events in New Jersey political history came on New Year's Day, 1990, in Camden County, where the prosecutor, Sam Asbell, shot up his own car in a desperate attempt to save his job. Asbell was flamboyant, colorful. He was a prosecutor who used to like to play cowboy. Some people called him Yosemite Sam because he had this big walrus-like mustache. He used to accompany police officers on drug raids. I mean, Asbell loved being prosecutor, but it looked like his time was coming to an end. He was a Kane appointee. Jim Florio was days away from becoming governor, and there was no way a Democrat from Camden County was going to let Sam Asbell stay. So he decided to fake an assassination attempt in a quixotic bid to force Florio into retaining him. Asbell claimed that 2 gunmen opened fire during a high-speed car chase through the streets of Camden. Asbell wasn't hurt, even though the front windshield of his Lincoln Continental was. And he claimed to have shot one of the gunmen in the head. Asbell said he fired a single round from a 12-gauge sawed-off shotgun that he kept with him, along with several rounds from his handgun. The reason for the attempt on his life, Asbell said, was the war that he was raging against drug dealers. But this was just an elaborate fabrication. It was a hoax. It was sort of a traffic study for prosecutors. And it didn't take the Attorney General's office long to figure that out. The unit that investigated public corruption was better than the OPIA was. in those days. And Sam Asbell pled guilty to a single count of filing a false police report. He signed himself into a psychiatric hospital in Somerset County and said that the idea came to him after he saw news reports of attacks against judges by drug lords in Colombia. The story is stunning, but it underscores a serious problem that people, that just doesn't get enough attention, and that is mental health issues in law enforcement. Earlier this month, a state trooper who served on an elite detail that protected high-level state officials like the governor, he shot and killed his former girlfriend, her boyfriend, and then himself. And the woman had told police that she'd been stalked. So did her mother. It's not clear who that was shared with. Certainly not the person who was under the protection of Rick Santos. And I think we're going to be hearing a whole lot more about this in the coming weeks and months. That's it for today, everybody. Thanks for listening. I'll be back tomorrow.
All right, David. Thank you very much, sir. It is 7:31 right now. When we come back, many of our cities are becoming more violent than ever. And about 15 minutes from now, we'll speak with a renowned martial arts expert and security professional about what you can do to best protect yourself. Our phone lines are open. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Cloudy, cooler, less humid today. Highs upper 70s. Our full Garden State forecast with meteorologist Mike Favetta in just a moment. You're watching ONNJ Mornings with Scene Daily at ONNJ.com, Roku, Fire TV, News On, Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, YouTube, Facebook, and X, and now streamed live on Substack, Rumble, and Twitch at twitch.tv/OnNJ. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jeanette Hoffman, host of Energy Matters. Join me every night at 6 p.m. where we're discussing energy affordability, challenges, and solutions with stakeholders and elected officials. Join me weekdays at 6 p.m. on Energy Matters on ONNJ.
Very good morning to you. It is 66 degrees, 7:32, Monday, August 18th, 2025. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings. Cloudy, cooler, less humid today. Highs mid to upper 70s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the detailed Garden State forecast. And Mike, I know we have that huge tropical system to the south and in the ocean impacting fish near Puerto Rico and whatnot right now, or it did hit parts of Puerto Rico, right? It impacted them a little bit.
It did. The outer bands, yes.
Yeah, and I was just looking at the beach cam from Fort Lauderdale, thinking there would be something, and there's not. It's like smooth as glass. So I guess it's far enough out right now that it's not impacting it, but it will come a little closer to shore as it curves up, correct?
Yeah, and it takes about a day or two for those waves to arrive. So Monday is still a little early. Tomorrow, I think down in
Mhm.
Florida, they'll see some much bigger waves, but those waves arrive here in New Jersey by Thursday into Friday, just in time for the weekend. I'm pretty sure we'll see some weekend beach closures just due to all of those waves lingering in the Atlantic, making for some really pretty scenes at the beaches, but you will probably not be able to go in. Already, we have some high risk of rip currents. We'll get to that part of the forecast in just a bit. Some clearing later today with breaks in the clouds down the shore as temperatures much cooler, climbing only into the mid 70s. There is a good level of air quality today as we're looking pretty healthy across New Jersey. Today's high climbs up into the mid 80s, and again, with a decent amount of rain from last night, really after midnight. That's why we had that quarter of an inch that popped up. We're starting off with the clouds right now. As far as today's water temperature, very warm, climbing into the low 80s, but you'll probably see those red flags at the beaches because the rip current risk is high at the New Jersey beaches today. Again, this is in advance of this storm's arrival. So still have a while for this storm to turn, and look at it going through. This is, again, the worst of the winds are right around the eye wall, but still some of these outer bands reaching parts of the Bahamas, especially Puerto Rico, there from Haiti and DR. And before this makes that turn, it'll generate some of those big waves out in the Atlantic basin. So, and the Caribbean. Our forecast points to that northeasterly wind today, helping to clear the clouds by this afternoon. So we get a pretty sunset this evening. Most of those clouds hang around southern New Jersey, just south of 195, even into tomorrow morning. And then you see it clearing later on. But places like Atlantic City and Cape May, probably stay cloudy right through Wednesday, even into Thursday. So it's a few days more until another round of the cold front moves on through and clears us out. As we look ahead toward Tuesday, warm front moves in, makes it a little bit milder. By the middle of the week, the humidity moves up, and there's the storm coming very close to shore. But again, far enough away that we'll likely just see those outer cloud bands by Thursday, and that's where those waves will really be ripping at the ocean beaches later on Thursday into Friday. So it's a few more days before we start to see those really big waves out the New Jersey coast, and will likely cause some beach erosion as well. So we're cool until then. Temperatures hold in the mid 70s even through Wednesday. Warmer by Thursday, a little bit warmer as well for Friday, 85, and then clear into the weekend as the storm will have passed well out to sea. But I think the wave heights will still be pretty high into Saturday and Sunday, Ken. So it's one to watch for the beaches later on this week, but pretty quiet until then, and feeling like fall, honestly, for
Yeah.
these next few days.
But that's kind of sad on Labor Day weekend if some of the beaches are going to be closed. I mean, would you think they would close the whole beach, or just you're not allowed to go in the water as long as you stay on the sand? I'm wondering.
You could stay on the sands, right? But I usually, at least in my experience, we had Ernesto was offshore last year, and the waves again were enormous. We're only
Mhm.
allowed to go in up to your ankles, and the lifeguards,
And
even if you went up to your
understandable.
knees, they pulled
Yeah.
you out. Oh yeah, because it could
Yeah.
take you pretty quickly.
People, anybody who thinks I know how to swim, you do not know. You do not know. I have been. I'm sure you've been pulled by a rip. I've been pulled by a rip, and when you get waves that strong, all of
Right.
it, water is endless power. There's nothing
But
you
it's
can
it's
do
the
to
angry
it.
ocean too, because as you approach the surf zone, you hear that crash. It's like a thundering crash. The waves are so big, you can feel it on your chest. Yeah, a way type of wave you want to stay away from.
Yeah,
Honestly, it's kind of your
100%.
innate nature keeping you away.
Find a nice swimming pool on Labor Day weekend. That's the way to do it. The biggest wave is going to be when you splash in, you take a dive. That's it. All right, sir. We'll check back with you. Thank you as always, Mike. It is 66 degrees. We take a look at traffic right now, and we do have an issue still. This is in East. Let me see here. I'm sorry. This is in East Orange. Let's take a look at I-280 at Day Street. This is eastbound I-280 west of exit 12 by the Garden State Parkway, East Orange. You could see the traffic on the left side of your screen. That's all because of a vehicle fire that's been extinguished right now, but they're working to clear it. So those cars are driving into where the vehicle fire was. Again, I-280 eastbound west of exit 12, the Garden State Parkway in East Orange. The ramp lane is currently closed still as they're working to clear all that up. We have a downed tree on the Garden State Parkway, local lanes northbound south of exit 109, and that is in Tinton Falls. The right lane and shoulder are blocked. And we have a water main break on 182 northbound at East Avenue in Hackettstown. All lanes are open. Crash on I-80 eastbound at exit 47B, Route 46, Parsippany Troy Hills. The right shoulder is closed. And we're told, a little further south on the Garden State, the GSP northbound has some delays right now. It's just volume delays. And that is going, let's see, that is at, of course, it just disappeared on me. There we go. Garden State Parkway. It's from 89A to exit 90. So it's about 2 miles of just volume delays. And that's, it is what it is, about 10 miles an hour. And it is happening at this hour as people are going to work. And the GWB approach right now, upper and lower levels, still doesn't look that bad. We're being told it's 20 to 25 minutes. I would bet you it's faster than that, but that's what they're reporting to us at this hour. 7:39 in Belmar, tragedy claiming the life of a 13-year-old on Friday. Police received a 911 call about 6:30 in the evening reporting a swimmer in distress at 8th Avenue Beach. The teen was found unresponsive off of 7th Avenue Beach about an hour later. They tried to save that teen's life. Lifeguards and paramedics worked, but the victim was pronounced dead at Jersey Shore University Hospital. The incident now under investigation. In Teaneck, a massive tree branch fell on Sussex and Churchill Roads Thursday morning, seriously injuring two women who got trapped beneath. Crews used chainsaws to free them. Both are expected to survive. A third woman suffered minor injuries. while a father and daughter in a nearby car were not harmed. The cause of the branch's fall from a private property tree remains unclear. Neighbors are now urging tree safety checks as crews work to remove the tree. 7:39, a tragic incident in New Jersey claiming the life of a 76-year-old man. His name is Thong Bu Wong Bandu. He fell and fatally injured himself as he was rushing to meet Big Sis Billy. Now, before you scratch your head and say, what? Big Sis Billy is a Meta AI chatbot, and this man believed that it was a real woman, and he got excited in the middle of trying to get into New York City to meet what turned out to be fake. He ended up falling, and that's what happened. The cognitively impaired senior was lured by the bot's flirtatious messages, despite family pleas to stay home. Governor Kathy Hochul called for stricter chatbot regulations, urging Congress to mandate disclosures that AI is not human. Don't know if that would have made a difference in this circumstance, though. Meta Corporation has not commented on the man's death. And a 46-year-old Raritan Township woman has been sentenced to 20 years in prison for the fatal stabbing of her housemate, 66-year-old Stephen Spivey. Dominique Preston pleaded guilty to first-degree aggravated manslaughter in June, admitting to the attack that occurred in their shared home on Manchester Road last February. She must now serve 17 years before being eligible for parole. 7:41 in Howell Township, a tragic crash claiming the life of 45-year-old Christine Suter. Monmouth County Prosecutor Raymond Santiago reports Suter's sedan veered off Route 547, striking Bob's Deli and Grill on Sunday morning. The vehicle crossed a median and parking lot before hitting the building. Suter suffered a number of injuries and passed away Tuesday. The cause of the crash remains undisclosed, and this marks the 11th fatal crash in Monmouth County this year, according to state police. 7:41 in Ramsey, 25-year-old Ryan Curtin, an employee at Tiger Schulman's martial arts gym on Route 17, faces charges of invasion of privacy. Bergen County prosecutors say a hidden camera was discovered in the women's restroom at the gym back in April. Well, they investigated for months, and investigators say that Curtin was arrested Wednesday and is being held at Bergen County Jail. Authorities continue to investigate the case. 7:42, New Jersey residents will see relief on their electric bills this fall, albeit just a tiny bit, as the state's Board of Public Utilities approved $100 credits for customers of Atlantic City Electric, PSE&G, JCP&L, and Rockland Electric. A $50 credit will appear in each of 2 months, September and October. No action required, so you'll just see the credit on your bill. Although the bill has gotten so high, you probably won't even notice that you have a credit. Because remember, your electric rates went up by 20% last year on average, in some cases a lot more, and again 20% this June. So the electric rate is so high that you may not even notice the $50 decrease. What you're going to notice is November's bill, when you get the bill without the cut, the decrease, and you're starting to pay for your heat as well. You're going to see a wallop just in time for the holidays. This follows a 20% price hike that was due to last year's power auction and grid stress, and the fact that the Democratic lawmakers in Trenton forced the closure of 6 perfectly functioning power plants throughout the state without building new so-called green energy plants on time. Still don't have any. Governor Murphy says the move will ensure affordability amid rising energy costs, which he caused. Customers can also explore relief programs like the Universal Service Fund, which we all pay into with our taxes. 7:43, a federal judge has dismissed a lawsuit by New Jersey parents challenging the state's practice of retaining newborn blood samples from mandatory disease screenings. U.S. District Judge Georgette Kastner ruled on Friday that storing these so-called blood spots does not violate parents' constitutional rights under the 14th or 4th Amendments. The parents are from Boonton and Cranberry. They argue the state needs informed consent for storage, but Kastner said the issue is better suited for legislative debate. But again, think about this. Liberals like Kastner, who's a Democrat, liberals love to say for women, my body, my choice when it comes to abortion, etc., right? But here, women who give birth to a child, when the doctor or the hospital decides they're going to retain some of the blood for whatever purpose, you're saying that in that case, it's not the woman's choice, that even though it came out of her body, that even though she had the choice to give birth to the baby, that the blood, you get to do anything you want with. Where's the logic there? Just tell somebody, please explain it. I may just be missing it, but somebody explain it to me. 7:44, a group of Congress members led by Congressman Frank Pallone challenging the Trump administration's efforts to keep Alina Habba as U.S. attorney, basically because she was appointed by Trump. That's it. They're saying that it violates the Preserving United States Attorney Independence Act. Who knew that was a thing? The group filed a brief urging a Pennsylvania federal judge to reject Habba's appointment, citing unconstitutional maneuvers to extend her tenure. Let me ask you something. You think anyone else that Trump appoints, and he has the right to appoint every U.S. judge for every state, you think anybody else whom he appoints they won't object to? I'll give you $1,000. I'll give you $1,000 if there is a federal judge that Trump appoints to New Jersey that you have no objection to from any Democrat. Guarantee. And New Jersey PBS faces layoffs after significant budget cuts, with Congress eliminating funding for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and the state legislature slashing funding by 75%. WNET, the PBS station, CEO Neil Shapiro announced the reduction of the NJ Spotlight news team, though the number of affected jobs remains undisclosed. The station plans on shifting toward a more digital-focused future, like the rest of us have done. Hello, we did it 20 years ago. Focusing on digital as opposed to broadcast to serve New Jersey better. This follows a previous round of 7 layoffs in March. 7:45, and we have 65 degrees. Cloudy, cooler, less humid today. Highs upper 70s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta returns with a full Garden State forecast, and we'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. You're watching on New Jersey Mornings. Back in 30. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, 746, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Cloudy, cooler, less humid today. Highs upper 70s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. A little bit of a kind of like a back to school sort of weather day, especially with the cooler feel, the clouds across New Jersey, temperatures in the 60s currently climbing into only the mid 70s today. So we don't even reach average in terms of temperature, with a little bit of sunshine breaking through toward Morristown and Sussex. The clouds hang for most of the morning, and then we see the sunshine return later today. It has been pretty dry, though, abnormally dry. These shades of yellow appearing on the map from the Drought Monitoring Center, with temperatures being warm for the last few weeks. It's been drier than average the last few weeks, and so that amounts to a rainfall deficit across most of northern New Jersey just in the last 30 days of about 2 to 4 inches. We need a really good tropical system to help that along and at least bring back some more of the rainfall, just to bring us back to average. So there's Erin spinning just north of the Bahamas, and then you see this next system just out to sea in the Atlantic Basin that may become our next named storm, the F storm, working its way westward. So we zoomed in here on Erin. These are the wave heights, and look at the scale here, kind of going off the chart toward the center of the storm, because it has that pinhole eye as it works its way north and west. A large swath of this has 40-foot waves down just north of the Caribbean. And as the system works its way north and east, it puts those 10 to 15-foot waves just off the New Jersey shore by Thursday evening. So it's going to be a Thursday, Friday into the weekend time frame where these waves will be very big right at the shore, causing some pretty big beach erosion just as those beach replenishment projects finish up for the season. Look at the Northeast, how we are cooler than average going into the first week of September. So I think we're done with the extreme heat, and then slightly above average rainfall forecast for the end of the month as well, with better chances of seeing some wet weather. Next one being Wednesday on the 7-day. You see, with another round of clouds coming in for tomorrow morning, I think most of southern New Jersey stays cloudy until Wednesday, where we could have a quick passing shower, and then we're back in the 80s with the humidity returning. So pretty cool and dry until Wednesday, and then the muggy weather comes back just in time for the weekend, with Saturday and Sunday starting off quite warm. More clouds for tomorrow at the shore, climbing to 80 by Wednesday. Same for Thursday with more humidity. I think Friday and Saturday offering a very pleasant feel out along the shore points, with sunny, low 80s, little bit of humidity, but again, giant waves at the beaches crashing on shore. You will see them, you will hear them. It's going to be a pretty big sight to see, and probably a lot of people disappointed that they won't be allowed to go in the water to cool off, Ken.
All right. Just so you know, I'm on the phone with our executive producer, Gerald. He's like, try to avoid talking about the F storm. I don't know why he's upset about that, but why are you
Oh,
upset? Oh, no, you're misunderstanding, Gerald. That's not what he's talking about. Okay. Yeah, we'll talk later. Bye-bye. Yeah, I think he thinks something entirely different, just so you know. Yeah, I'm just, why do I think I'm going
the
to have a
S
meeting
storm
after
is
the
really
show?
that's the concern. That's like October, November timeframe, because that S storm, causes so many problems.
You know, I mean, I always remind people, having lived in Florida and my other half lived through
Mhm,
Hurricane Andrew, that was
mhm.
an A storm, meaning the first of the
Yes,
season, right? And that it
right.
happened, what, October? Didn't it
It
happen in
was.
October 93
It happened in September. It was right
or
around Labor
September?
Day. Yeah, it was September, right around Labor Day. I just the size of the storm in comparison, right? Andrew, very
Right.
powerful storm, no doubt about it, but it was a very small storm. You look at
Mm,
Erin, and it's like so much bigger, even from an energy standpoint, because scientists measure the amount of accumulated energy that these cyclones produce. This one storm, Erin, may beat entire hurricane seasons past just from one storm, from the amount of
That's
energy it's
amazing.
outputting just due to its size.
If we could only harness that energy and trap that energy into batteries or something, I know I'm thinking Tesla-esque, but can you imagine we could power the Earth for decades just on the power of a storm like that? Someday somebody will figure that out. Unfortunately, we will be long gone, I think, by that point. All right. Thank you very much, Mike. Much appreciated, sir. It is
Yeah.
7:51, 67 degrees right now. In terms of traffic, we do have an issue still on, actually, let's do this issue. We have, which one did we say we were going to do first? Columbia Avenue. This is 495. This is as you make your way into Manhattan. Columbia Avenue. In fact, it's moving pretty well now. A couple of minutes ago, that was bumper to bumper, but that is the case for us, Pam. That's our luck. But that's a good thing. We should be very happy about that as people are making their way into Manhattan. It is now moving. In fact, it's much the same in all the other approaches. It's about 10 minutes in right now. Let's take a look, if we can, at something that isn't moving so nicely. This is a vehicle fire on I-280 eastbound west of exit 12, Garden State Parkway in East Orange. The ramp lane is closed, and that's causing that residual delay right there from everybody heading into it again. Vehicle fire was extinguished, but you have emergency crews on the scene taking care of that. So if you were in East Orange, that's what you're going to hit on I-280. Again, the Lincoln and Holland Tunnel is only about 10 minutes in. GW upper and lower roadways right now from the 80-95 approach also moving very well. About 10. They were saying 20 to 25. I think they just haven't updated it. It's only about 10 minutes in. When you have no traffic right there at that point, I've been there a million times. That means you got about a 10 to maybe 15-minute approach time into Manhattan. 7:52 right now, and Master Phil Ross is a renowned martial arts expert and security professional who's making waves with the re-release of his groundbreaking self-defense manual, Survival Strong, a guide to street survival and strength. Let us welcome Phil. Good morning to you. Good to have you on.
Ken, good morning. I have to tell you, I am a regular listener, and you are
Thank you.
extremely refreshing to hear.
Oh,
Matter of
thank
fact,
you.
I called in a couple months ago in regard to another book I have out called Exercise Snacks, Fitness 5 Minutes at a Time. But it is a lot of fun listening to you and your take on the news. It's excellent.
Thank you. You know what's
We're here to
funny,
talk about.
Phil, and I was just want to say, for 25 years I was told to keep my opinions to myself, and now they're saying go for it. Every time I give an opinion, I kind of cringe inside. I'm like, should I say this? But anyway, I look at you when they had the camera shot of you, and I told Pam, our director,
Yeah.
how perfect your physique. I say someday in my dreams I will have a physique like that. This is why you're a master, and you know how to teach people to be safe. Thank you for re-releasing your book. So this was released in 2016 originally, right? So why reintroduce it?
Yes.
Is it just, I think right now people really need this.
Yeah, I think they do. Unfortunately, the police are there in minutes when seconds count. What
Right.
is the average person going to do? You can't afford a bodyguard, so you have to become your own bodyguard. And my guide to street survival
Mhm.
and strength helps us with that. You know, um, Obviously, you can say, yeah, you're put together pretty well. You have a great fight acumen. I have a lot of experience as a bouncer, as a bodyguard, and so forth. And I've been, I'm a high-level martial artist, been doing combat arts for about 50 years. And okay, it might be easy for me, but the important thing is I've trained many, many people, and I continue to train people in this state to be able to defend themselves. I'm a professor at Burton Community College, and I teach 2 units a semester in self-defense, as well as my videos and seminars and workshops and talks like this. The thing is that there is something that you can do, and one of the most important things is your attitude about it. We want to employ the mental aspects. So what am I talking about? I call that the 3 A's. We have our awareness, avoidance, action, and aggression. And we have to learn how to employ those 4 A's. And the other one I discuss is a thing called the 3 F's. What is that? Well, we all took psychology and you're taught the fight or flight syndrome, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And people seem to forget the other one, freeze. Most people have never been hit, right? So the first time they get hit or they get confronted, they freeze up like a deer in the headlights. And that could be up to 30% of people it happens to. So how are you able to circumvent this? How are you able to handle this? Well, you need to develop a thing called IT. And I'm not talking about information technology. I'm talking about instinctive technique. So through the training methodologies, through the mindset training, we can better prepare ourselves. And then we also want to employ a thing that I call SIPT: scan, identify, predict, decide, and execute. And all of these things are addressed in my book as well as my video training series.
So there's more. Obviously, there's the physical, but there's a lot of psychology here, as you mentioned. You talked about the psychology. A friend of mine actually he works for Fox. He's on Fox News, and he was
Mhm.
talking about how he was in D.C. not too long ago, within the last year. He was carjacked
Yeah.
at gunpoint, and he did, what he felt in the circumstance was the wise thing. They were kids, they were late teens,
Hmm.
and they had guns.
Hmm.
And he just said
Hmm.
his fear, because the kid was shaking with the gun so much, that the kid was just going to accidentally trigger that gun. He had it right to his head, and that would have been it.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a
Yeah.
circumstance like that, I mean, what he did was he said he calmly spoke to the kid. I have
Yes.
keys in my right pocket. Take the keys, take my
Hmm.
wallet, take everything. I am not going to look at you. I'll look the other way. You do anything you need. In that circumstance, when somebody nervously has a gun to your head, is that the best thing you can do?
Look, I'm not going to preach to anyone what they
Right.
should or shouldn't do. I want to teach them to survive. Now, listen, I've actually been faced with that situation. I've been on the wrong end of a gun. I reacted differently, but that's me.
Right.
The thing is, what you want to do is you want to de-escalate the situation and bring the temperature down. So obviously, your friend lived, so he did the correct thing here, but maybe that might not have worked out in a different circumstance. I
Right.
can't tell you that. But the thing is, you look at what we did before. How did he get in that situation? Was he employing SIPTI? Did he scan the area? Did he look for potentials? Because when you scan the area, when you employ SIPTI, you need to look around the environment. Where are my escape routes? Where are my potential dangers? Where is a safe haven for me? How can I get out of here? How can I avoid this? So if you're not employing those tactics right off the bat, you're kind of a sitting duck. Most of us are sitting or run around looking at our cell phones or texting and not paying attention. And that's one of the things that we have to do is we have to raise awareness. 95% of the situations can be avoided just by not being there as well.
Mhm. That makes sense. And I think too many of us, I was about to say, I was going to put it on younger people. Too many younger people, they live very carefree and they don't think about it. But everybody, this
Yeah.
person I'm telling you about literally was coming out of work, and he was
Yeah.
parked on the street, and he was just, you have to be careful. When I worked for Channel 7,
Yes.
I remember that we had a security meeting about 6 or 7 years ago. Our security
Hmm.
team said,
Hmm.
you all leave the building at exactly the same time and walk to the car in the same place every single day. If you said something on the news that somebody got pissed off about and they want to come after you, all I got to do is sit across the street and watch what time you come out, and it's over.
Yep.
So that's when they
Yep.
started taking us out of different building exits, and we
Hmm.
were accompanied. every day. We came out of a different exit, and they would tell us, you know what, wait another 15 minutes. Just go watch TV. They wouldn't, they must have known something and they didn't want to share with us. They must have gotten word about
Oh
something.
yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
it's about throwing people off so that the pattern is not the same. So exactly what you're talking about. People are not stupid. If they want to get you, they're thinking ahead. They're playing chess, and we're not even playing checkers.
Yeah, we don't know we don't even know where the board is half the time. I mean,
Right.
Harley Davidson a few years ago flew me out there because they were having a bunch of assaults occurring in their parking lot. So I trained all the people in the facility. You know, it was a couple hundred people there on how to avoid these situations and what to do and to buddy up and so forth. You know, check your vehicle. People don't even look under their cars. You know, people don't look around their car, especially when you're coming out of these malls. You know, people
Mhm.
come out of the malls laden with bags. They forget where they park half the time, and you know they're sitting ducks. So you know things you go to the mall, pay attention to where you park, park in a lighted area, and you know what? If you have a bunch of packages, request that someone walk you to your car because they have to do that. They're compelled to do that because it does not look good to them. God forbid something happens to you and you said, "Yo, I requested a sales associate walk me to my vehicle and they declined me." So
Wow.
these are the
Unbelievable.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
it's
That's not a
crazy.
good thing.
Yeah, and the thing is also that especially women are targets more than men. We
100%.
saw that whole thing. That's also that. Remember, I guess about a year and a half ago, where women were just getting punched in the face randomly in New York.
Yes.
Like there was something like 45 a month. It was crazy. Well, that's starting to be on the rise again. And with the lawlessness that we have out there, you really have to protect yourself and pay attention to your vehicle. There are many times where they'll go and put honey on a windshield, and when you're trying to fix the windshield or smooth it off, clean it off, they'll attack you. They'll wrap together with wire tie with ties, the plastic ties, your windshield wipers. They'll put some type of dust or something on your door handles. Look around you, pay attention, see
Yeah.
if someone is watching you, see if someone's tracking you. You have to be alert. You have to be cognizant of what's going on in your environment.
If you're walking up to your car and you see something on your windshield like that, don't even get close to the car, right? Just veer back to wherever there are people and get it. Don't, because you know that's a setup. That didn't just happen, right? You
No,
know that when you left your car, there wasn't honey on the windshield. So there's something that's a setup. I want to make sure we got about 20
something's up.
seconds here. I want to make sure everybody has what's your website so people can get Survival Strong and your other book.
Sure,
Let us know how people can find out more too.
real easy. PhilRoss.com.
All right, Master Phil Ross. And the
Real
book,
easy.
by the way, is Survival Strong. You could buy it wherever you buy books.
Well,
And I
actually, the
just
new
want
one
to,
is this one.
there we go. Put it
This
right
is
in the
the
middle. There you go. A
okay.
guide to staying. Oh, that's awesome. More to the middle. I don't mean to block your face. There it is. A guide to
No, no,
street
no. There.
survival
How's that?
strength. That's perfect. We got you now. That is very cool. A lot of years of doing this. That's why you are the master at
Yes,
it,
sir.
sir. I appreciate you so much. Please come back again. Phil Ross,
I will.
Master Phil Ross. All right. It is good to have you on, especially now. So important for people. Thank you for joining us again. Please come back again.
Thank you, Ken.
You bet, Phil. Have a good day. So important. And we all know somebody, including ourselves, but we all know somebody who needs to know that. 803 right now. We're going to be back in 30 seconds. 888 658 0234. You're watching on New Jersey Mornings. Very good morning. It is 8:03, Monday, August 18th, 2025. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, 888-658-0234. Cloudy, cooler, less humid, highs upper 70s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has all the details. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. It's in the 60s now. It is beautiful. Lovely way to start the day. Yeah, a little fall-like feel here across New Jersey. And with the cooler weather across northern parts of the state, it's also accompanied by low humidity. There is still some muggy weather down toward Cape May and Atlantic City, which you'll see with the dew points in just a sec. So we're running about 9 degrees cooler than this time yesterday up in northern New Jersey. Still a little bit cooler down the shore, but look at the difference in humidity. Very dry with that yellowy shade up in Sussex and a 48-degree dew point, 73-degree dew point, and with that dark green down in Cape May. So a big difference in humidity. You can kind of see where that front is sitting, and it was all due to the front that pushed through last night, squeezed out a few showers as well. So some parts of southern New Jersey could still have some wet roadways. Our light winds today give way to some sunshine across northern sections of the state. North of 195, I think you'll be all clear once we get beyond the lunch hour, a nice sunny return to the day. However, southern New Jersey stays with those clouds for a good portion of the day, and you can thank that northeasterly breeze for that, especially going into tomorrow with another round of cloud cover for you. You can see it here with the Futurecast, the clouds ultimately pushing their way south, giving way to clear sky and low 80s by the early afternoon. And then the clouds just kind of hover. And look at the temperature difference, staying in the low 70s down the shore today. So a very cloudy scene for you, but everybody cools off tonight. We break into some sunshine tomorrow, and we're still running cooler even for your Tuesday. Wednesday has a chance of a few spotty sprinkles. It'll be gray, but we finally clear out by Thursday. And with that Thursday clearing later on, then we'll start to get the influence of Erin, which will be just offshore. It's too early to see if we get some of the outer bands of rain, but certainly the clouds likely by Thursday. So that forecast all coming in from the tropics. You can see the storm center passes way out to sea, but again, the storm is very wide. That's why we'll see some of those outer bands likely influence our weather come Thursday, Friday timeframe. With it, more humidity, a tropical level of humidity, as temperatures return to the low 80s. Erin will play a big part in our beach weekend forecast, especially where you probably won't be able to go into the water, maybe just touch your toes because of the wave heights crashing on shore. We'll give you that wave height estimate and the track. It's all coming up, Ken, with another check of your forecast in a few minutes.
Good deal. Thank you so much, Mike. And definitely, if you see those waves crashing like that, I wouldn't even, I just admire from afar or go to a pool
Yes.
just to be safe. It's only going to be a day or two, and then you can get back to the ocean. Maybe it's still gonna. It's not like we always think that like, oh, come Labor Day weekend, you're not allowed to go to the beach after that. It's going to be probably comfortable enough to go to the beach for a couple of
Sure.
weekends after that.
Yep.
So don't feel like that's it. Then move to Florida like me. It is. Thank you, Mike. 8:06 right now, 67 degrees, as Mike said, nice and comfy in the 60s. It is in Trenton. It's a little bit warmer right now. What do we have in Trenton? We have 67 degrees. The whole state is 67 degrees right now. There you go. 8:07 is our time, and what we have right now is 280 at Day Street. Let's go to that if we can. So we have a vehicle fire that was. Oh, you want to go to the other one first? I'm sorry, 287 at US 1. So this is in Edison, New Jersey. Let's take a look at what we have now. That's what we were talking about. I had the wrong one up, Pam. I apologize. So this is in Edison, New Jersey, I-287 at US 1. Take a look at the heavy traffic. That is not caused by anything more than volume, but nonetheless, you can see the mess you have right there at where the two meet, 287 at Route 1. And that is northbound 287. So just beware if you're heading in that direction. It's crawling at about 5 miles an hour. We also have an issue of a vehicle fire that was extinguished, but nonetheless causing residual delays. It's on eastbound I-280 at the Garden State Parkway in East Orange. The ramp lane is closed, and it is still causing a bit of a bunch up. You can see those cars there on the left moving a little bit better than it was. It was dead stop a little while ago, but just beware of that. Crash on I-80 eastbound at exit 47B, which is Route 46 in Parsippany Troy Hills with the right shoulder closed. And we're told now delays on the New Jersey Turnpike Western Spur northbound from the Southern Mixing Bowl to exit 15W 280 in Newark. All lanes open, but a 2-mile delay due to volume. We'll get that camera shot for you later. Lincoln and Holland tunnels, both 10 minutes across. The GWB upper and lower levels have been pretty good all morning long, continue to be right now with only 10 to 15 minute crossover time. 8:08 is our time right now. 3 people were killed, 9 others hurt when up to 4 gunmen opened fire in a possible gang-related shooting. This occurred at a Brooklyn hookah lounge early yesterday morning. It was the second mass shooting in the city in weeks. Cops responded to calls of a shooting inside the Taste of the City lounge in Crown Heights just before 3:30 in the morning.
Dispute inside the crowded club that led to the shooting. We believe that there were up to 4 shooters involved in this incident. Our crime scene investigators have now recovered 42 shell casings from multiple guns. The shell casings appear to be from 9mm and .45 caliber weapons. At this time, no one is in custody, and the shooting preliminarily appears to be gang-related.
Well, the club was packed when the bullets flew. Detectives later recovered 42 shell casings. The shooting was apparently sparked by some kind of a dispute between a 19 and a 35-year-old, with the 35-year-old being a suspected gang member of the so-called Folk Nations gang. The 9 people who got hurt, 6 men and 3 women, taken to local hospitals. Police say they had non-life-threatening injuries, likely just injured in the hustle of everybody trying to get away from the bullets that were falling. 8:10 now. In Belmar, a tragic incident claimed the life of a 13-year-old on Friday. Police received 911 calls about 6:30 in the evening, reporting a swimmer in distress at 8th Avenue Beach. The team found unresponsive shortly later, about an hour later, off of 7th Avenue Beach. Despite life-saving efforts by lifeguards and paramedics, the victim was pronounced dead at Jersey Shore University Hospital, and that incident now under investigation. Up to Teaneck, a massive tree branch fell on Sussex and Churchill Roads Thursday morning. That seriously injured 2 women trapped beneath it. Crews used chainsaws to free them. Both are expected to survive. A third woman suffered minor injuries, while a father and daughter in a nearby car were unharmed. The cause of the branch's fall from a private property tree remains unclear. Neighbors now urging tree safety checks as crews work to remove that tree. A tragic incident in New Jersey claiming the life of a 76-year-old man named Dongbu Wongbundu, who fell and fatally injured himself while he was rushing to meet a person, or he thought it was a person, Big Sis Billy, as the individual was called. It turns out it was not a human. It was a Meta AI chat bot that he believed was a real live human being, a woman in New York City. Well, this is a man who is cognitively impaired. And he's a senior. He was lured by the bot's flirtatious messages. Despite his family's pleas to stay home, New York Governor Kathy Hochul is now calling for stricter chatbot regulations, urging Congress to mandate disclosures that AI is not human, although it's not known if that would have helped in this case because he's cognitively impaired and a senior. Meta has not commented on the man's death. And a 46-year-old Raritan Township woman has been sentenced to 20 years in prison for the fatal stabbing of her housemate, 66-year-old Stephen Spivey. Dominique Preston pleaded guilty to first-degree aggravated manslaughter in June, admitting to the attack that occurred in their shared home on Manchester Road last February. She cannot get parole or be eligible for it until she serves at least 17 years. In Howell, a tragic crash claimed the life of 45-year-old Christine Suter. Monmouth County Prosecutor Raymond Santiago reports Suter's sedan veered off Route 547, striking Bob's Deli and Grill on about 9:50 in the morning 8 days ago. The vehicle crossed a median and parking lot before hitting the building. Suter, who suffered a number of injuries, then passed away last Tuesday. The cause of the crash remains undisclosed. This marks the 11th fatal crash in Monmouth County this year, according to state police. In Ramsey, 25-year-old Ryan Curtin, an employee at Tiger Schulman's martial arts gym on Route 17, is now facing charges of invasion of privacy. Bergen County prosecutors say a hidden camera was discovered in the women's restroom at the gym in April. And police investigated for months, and they then said Curtin was arrested Wednesday. He's being held at Bergen County Jail. Authorities continue to investigate the case. 8:13. New Jersey residents will see a little tiny bit of relief on their electric bills this fall as the state's Board of Public Utilities approved $100 in credits for customers of Atlantic City Electric, PSE&G, JCP&L, and Rockland Electric. A $50 credit will appear in each of September and October. No action required. It follows a 20% price hike this year and a 20% price hike last year, thanks to the Democrats in Trenton and Governor Murphy, fellow Democrat that he is. Apparently, it was because they closed 5 fossil fuel generating plants and 1 nuclear power generating plant in the last few years. That caused energy prices to spike at a time when we need more energy for AI, for electric vehicles, and for cloud storage. And at a time when we had, at this summer, of course, we have the need at all times in the summer for electric, for our air conditioners, etc. So not 1, not 2, but 6 power generating plants got closed by the Democrats. before the Democrats could build any green energy plants, forcing New Jersey residents to buy their power from neighboring states. That is why we have this huge spike in electric rates. And they're trying to make it sound like, look, you're getting a $50 break in September and October. BFD. Okay, wait till November when your electric rate is through the roof and you're using electric heat in many houses in New Jersey. It's going to be through the roof. Trust me. 814, a federal judge has dismissed a lawsuit by New Jersey parents challenging the state's practice of retaining newborn blood samples from mandatory disease screenings. U.S. District Court Judge Georgette Kastner, a Democrat, ruled Friday that storing these so-called blood spots does not violate parents' constitutional rights under the 14th or 4th Amendments. The parents are from Boonton and Cranberry. They argued the state needs informed consent for storage, but Kastner said the issue was better suited for legislative debate. But she had no problem weighing in on this. And again, I mentioned this earlier. This same group of Democrats are saying that it's my body, my choice for women, except for when the hospitals remove blood from your baby. Then they can do whatever they want. It's no longer your body and your choice. No hypocrisy there. And a group of Congress members led by Representative Frank Pallone is challenging the Trump administration's efforts to keep Alina Habba as U.S. attorney, arguing it violates the so-called Preserving United States Attorney Independence Act. The group filed a brief urging that a Pennsylvania judge would reject Habba's appointment, citing unconstitutional maneuvers to extend her tenure. It is now 68 degrees at 8:15. When we come back, preseason football, I should say, Rock MetLife Stadium. The Giants appeared to be on fire, while the Jets, not so much. Maybe a fire extinguisher. We'll talk to WFAN radio host Danielle McCartan. Cloudy, cooler, less humid today. Highs mid to upper 70s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta returns with a full Garden State forecast, and we will take your calls at 888-658-0234. You're watching ONNJ Jersey Mornings. We'll be back in 30. Welcome back to ONNJ Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, 8:15 on your Monday, 8:17, I lied. Okay, I bent the truth a little. On your Monday morning, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with your Garden State forecast. Mike, public slap, I fibbed.
That's all good. You know, we start off with a little bit of a bleary-eyed morning, right? Because you can't see a lot of sun this morning. A little cloudy, a little gray, looking a little like fall here in the toward the end of August, especially with temperatures that are starting off cool right now in the 60s, only climbing to 74 at the beaches. A little bit of a gray start and a little bit of a gray finish as most of the sunshine holds off until this afternoon. So as those clouds depart throughout southern New Jersey today, keep an eye to the sky. Might see some more of that haze due to some wildfire smoke out west. It's working its way eastward. Certainly not too thick like in weeks past, but a little bit of a haze there to the sky. And with the sun returning in northern New Jersey, get up to UV index of a 7, which is high. Most of southern New Jersey, however, stays quite cloudy, even though the drier weather works through the entire state throughout the rest of the day. Definitely cooler and much less humid up in Sussex and western Passaic counties. But by Wednesday into Thursday, the humidity starts to creep back in. We're back in the 70s with that dew point from Cape May and up the coast, meaning it'll feel much more humid by the end of the week. Also a little bit more of a heat index as well throughout the end of the week too. So we look ahead toward Friday, and that will be where the storm is, Erin, swinging out to sea. We'll probably get some clouds by Thursday in the picture as those outer bands work in across New Jersey. But again, the main center of the storm stays far out to sea. And then into the weekend, looks like a pretty decent weekend ahead with some showers likely by the time we get to Sunday. So most of the computer models still taking the storm well out to sea, basically following that National Hurricane Center track. One or two stray variants put it into the coast, but those are the outliers. And then by the time we get into the end of the weekend, we'll look forward to the warmer weather that comes back in. A little more humid too by Sunday, 83. Could be some showers on the tail end of the weekend. We'll talk more about the wave heights that'll be coming to New Jersey in our next weather update. Could be arriving as soon as Wednesday night and especially into Thursday. Those details in just a few minutes, Ken.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. In terms of traffic right now, let's take a look at I-80 westbound at exit 57, Route 19 in Patterson. Actually, what we're going to show you is just about a mile before. So the vehicles on the left side of your screen coming toward you are headed into, you see the eastbound are on the right, the westbound are on the left, despite the little blur there. Yeah, you know what? Take the Madison or the 19 cam if you could, Pam. The one right above. Yeah. All right. So there you go. There we are. We have the disabled vehicle. Ta-da. So that is the disabled vehicle on I-80 westbound at exit 5719 in Patterson. You can see the ramp lane and the right shoulder are closed, not causing any massive delays. People are just brake checking as they go through at that point. If we can though, Pam, let's go back to our I-80 cam eastbound west of exit 12 into Garden State Parkway in East Orange. This is still causing some delays. Again, I-80 eastbound west of exit 12, Garden State Parkway. That's the Day Street cam, if we could. And that is because of an earlier vehicle fire. I did say the wrong one. It's 280. You're right. I-280. Excuse me. So this is from an earlier vehicle fire. You'll see that there's still. Maybe it was all cleared. Okay, I stand corrected. So now that has been cleared. We still have a report here. It's a little late, so I'm sorry about that. We have a water main break on 182 northbound by East Avenue in Hackettstown. All lanes are open, and delays on Route 4 eastbound from east of River Road to east of Queen Anne Road in Teaneck. All lanes are open, but that's about a 2-mile delay. The approaches to the Hudson River right now, the Lincoln and Holland are 10 minutes, also 10 minutes at the GWB upper and lower levels 80-95 approach. Everything moving pretty well at this hour. 8:21 is our time. Plenty of sparks at MetLife this weekend as the Giants rolled past the Jets 31-12. Rookie quarterback Jackson Dart turned heads with a TD through the air and another on the ground while the Jets stuck to a run-first approach but struggled to move the ball. A preseason matchup that raised just as many questions as it answered. And joining me now is a woman who knows sports a lot better than me, Danielle McCartan, who's a radio host for WFAN. Danielle, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. Buona mattina, Ken Rosato.
Buona mattina lei anche. You know, it's funny. I know about that much about sports, but this gives me my opportunity to sound like I can impress you with stuff that was written by Gerald, our executive producer. So I hope I sounded convincing because it was all from script. But you are the pro at this, and it's awesome to have you on. Listen, I have to ask you, how impressive would you say was Jackson Dart's preseason debut? Are we looking at some magic that we're going to have this season?
I wouldn't say this season, but it was better than expected. I mean, he even orchestrated sustained drives that ended in scoring more often than not, which is crazy for the Giants, right? He got rid of the ball quickly, which means he was decisive. That little sidearm throw on that standalone play Saturday night had shades of Patrick Mahomes. And the pace of the offense with him is great. They rarely huddle up, which means you can get mismatches on defensive personnel. So I think better than expected for Jackson Dart. I just don't want to see him under center as a starter this season.
Yeah. My 94-and-a-half-year-old father, by the way, says he tells me he's going to live to be 110 because he says it's only when the Giants become a great team that he will finally say, okay, take me. So he keeps living and saying every year they disappoint, whatever. Should Russell Wilson be looking over his shoulder after Dart's performance?
No, I don't think so. I mean, and I don't think he's doing that either. I mean, when camera flashed to him every time on the sideline during this Jets Giants game, he was helping his other quarterback. So I mean, I could see like, if I was looking over my shoulder, I wouldn't be so apt to help the guys behind me. I might go for Dart as the backup, only for the reason that the second string quarterback, gets more reps in practice than a third string quarterback, which he's projected to be. Also, in my mind, Jameis Winston hasn't really done enough to earn and take that backup job. The offense doesn't look sharp. I mean, the fumble on the first snap of the night against the Jets, not a good look. But Dart's in a good situation. Joe Shane put him in a good situation. So I don't think there's a need to rush him onto the field as the starter just yet, because he can learn behind a Super Bowl winning quarterback in Russell Wilson.
And would you say the Jets lean a little too heavily on the run game?
Oh my God. I look, I know they're trying to develop an identity, of course, like, okay, ground and pound, right? But as we're watching that game, I was waiting for them to throw the ball further than 5 yards. It's like wide receiver screen, 10 handoffs in a row, handing it off on 3rd and 8. I mean, there was a point, Ken, where there were 10 straight runs and then an incomplete slant pattern to Garrett Wilson. I just wish the Jets can open up the offense before week 1. This is unbelievable, really. Can Justin Fields even throw the ball? I think that's still a legitimate question, going into week 3 of the preseason.
Just unbelievable when you consider how much money there is in this sport, the billions of dollars that these teams are valued at, and they just can't get it together season after season. What would you say in this case? What stood out most from the Giants and Jets' depth on both sides of the ball? What do they have and what are they lacking?
Well, the thing that the Jets were, showcasing most was that running game. And they do have a three-head. They had Brees Hall, Braylon Allen, and now Justin Fields. And that's a different look than the Aaron Rodgers type offense. So there is depth there. I just want to see him throw the ball for once. And then the Giants offensive line, I mean, only 1 sack through 2 games. I mean, Coach Chris Snee is really working his magic with that unit, so to speak. And that, I think, has stood out to me, that this offensive line for the Giants, which is projected to be one of the worst in the league this season, all of a sudden looks formidable, and all of a sudden is allowing guys like Jackson Dart and Russell Wilson to stand tall in the pocket and deliver the ball. So that, to me, I think is the most surprising part of this entire preseason, for both teams, is that the Giants' offensive line and the depth behind it looks pretty good.
We'll see what happens. What would you say the roster decisions could be for this game to have some impact before week 1 for both teams?
Yeah, for the Jets, I didn't see it. What I was looking for in this game was just a wide receiver 2 to step up, because everybody knows Garrett Wilson's going to be doubled up this season. It's no secret. That's the game plan. So who is going to be the 2 to his 1? So that guy can start to draw some attention from the defense. Like, if there isn't a guy that could step it up, I mean, it's going to be a very long season for Garrett Wilson and the Jets. So I saw Quentin Skinner, 48 yards receiving in this game. That's encouraging. I don't know how many exactly came from Justin Fields. Probably not many or not at all. But Quentin Skinner maybe has stepped up into that role. But for the Giants, I know, Ken, I know you were watching this. Rookie free agent Bo Collins out of Notre Dame. That 80-yard pass catch, a bomb by Russell Wilson. I mean, he didn't get into the end zone. Singletary ended up punching it in. But as Phil Simms pointed out on the broadcast, which I love hearing him on that broadcast, Collins had a key block to spring Singletary into the end zone. So this was the Bo Collins coming out game. Shades of Victor Cruz, even undrafted free agent out of Patterson. So, yeah, I mean, Bo Collins, I think, made a legitimate shot, a case to make the Giants this weekend.
What would you say if we expand that out to some of the other teams out there right now? Who's looking on fire I mean, we can't even say it's early yet. It's pre-early, but who do you think has some fire for this coming season?
I mean, the Eagles are the team to knock off, right? And unfortunately for the Giants, they reside in their own division. So the Eagles, I would say, the Chiefs, as long as Mahomes and Reed and Kelsey are there. I like the Lions this year a lot. They got pretty far without Aiden Hutchinson on their defensive line in the playoffs. So those are kind of the 3 teams I'm looking at. The Bills, of course, the New York Buffalo Bills, I get that too. So those are probably my top 4. The Bills, the Chiefs out of the AFC, and then the Eagles and the Lions out of the NFC.
And of course, everybody loves the Eagles fans, tongue in cheek. So they're a unique lot, let's just say that. And they comprise the southern half of the state and a lot of people in New York too. So we'll see what happens. All right, we love when you come on. WFAN radio host Danielle McCartan, thank you for getting up with us this morning and for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you on.
You got it, Ken. Thanks. I appreciate it. Grazie
Have a
mille.
Grazie mille. Oh my God, I love it. Your Italian is awesome. Are you part Italian?
Yeah, during the week I teach Italian, so
Io non lo sapevo, dobbiamo parlare solamente in italiano se lo vuoi.
love
Perfetto.
it.
Oh, I
Profitable.
love it. I didn't know that. That's excellent. All right, then you come on every day if you want. That's awesome.
All
All right,
right.
have a great day, Daniel. Thank you again.
All right.
8:29.
Have
Oh, right after my own heart. I love it. It's 8:29 now, 66 degrees. And when we come back, brand and digital strategist Fisher joins us to talk about talks between the Trump administration and chip maker Intel to take over the struggling, or at least part of the struggling company. The phone lines are open. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta says clouds this morning and cloudy and cooler, less humid through the day, highs in the mid to upper 70s. Our full Garden State forecast in just a minute. You're watching ONNJ Mornings, seen daily at ONNJ.com. We're also on Roku, Fire TV, News on Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, YouTube, Facebook, and X. And now we're streamed live on Substack, Rumble, and Twitch at twitch.tv/OnNJ. We'll be back in 30.
Hi, I'm Jeanette Hoffman, host of Energy Matters. Join me every night at 6 p.m. where we're discussing energy affordability, challenges, and solutions with stakeholders and elected officials. Join me weekdays at 6 p.m. on Energy Matters on ONNJ.
Very good morning to you. It is Monday, August 18th, 2025, 66 degrees, quite comfortable when you go outside. 8:30 is our time. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings. Cloudy, cooler, less humid today, highs mid to upper 70s. If you want to go outside, have a little lunch, take the doggy for a walk, it really is a comfy day to do it. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with the detailed Garden State forecast. Mike, when I opened the door to water my basilico this morning, that's basil for those who don't speak Italian, now that we know Danielle McCartan speaks fluent Italian and teaches it, I just kind of went, "Ooh, yeah." It was a little, fall is on the way there, Ken. Just saying.
It felt a little brisk. Yeah, Rocco wanted to take the extended walk this morning. He's like looking at me like, "Can we go? Can we go? We could go. We can go down that way, right?" It's like, come on, I gotta work. But yes, it's one of those mornings you take a lovely stroll. You're not sweating through your clothes after being outside for 5 minutes, so it does feel quite nice. And that refreshing feel that our director Pam just can't get over. It's so lovely, and I agree. It feels nice. There are lots of clouds around this morning. You see them here as the sun rises, reflecting off of the cloud tops. Top to bottom, we're socked in with the clouds right now. But again, we'll eventually see that front slide through and clear out some of those clouds later today, allowing for the sun to peek through. But still, keep it a little humid. In southern New Jersey, the drier weather is predominantly across the northern part of the state. So if you're waking up right now, say Atlantic City South, and go, what is he talking about? It doesn't feel like fall. It's still quite humid for you today, and then we get a little bit better by tomorrow. Air quality is good today. I think our forecast points to, again, with that earlier sunset, now at 7:50 and the sunrise happening a little bit later. Didn't get a whole lot of sun this morning, thanks, of course, to that cloud cover. Even a few showers popping up here on the radar picture across portions of Tom's River, along the Parkway, working south toward LBI. So a gray looking day, even though the water temperatures are nice and warm, you probably won't be able to go near the water starting today at some beaches because the rip current risk is already high. I think we'll see the red flags or the no swimming as soon as tomorrow, with the waves only getting bigger from that point. So here's the storm, and this is Erin, a very large storm, very wide, generating some enormous waves down there in the Caribbean. Here toward the northern section of the map in across New Jersey, we have all of the clouds that'll be around throughout Tuesday. Maybe some breaks of sun by tomorrow afternoon, but still generally cloudy at the coast, even across most of southern New Jersey from the shore points. By Wednesday, we have a little bit of light rain, and then we clear things out by Thursday. But we're still left with the large storm offshore, as the front that tries to push it out isn't strong enough to push Erin completely out to sea. But Erin's center stays far enough away that we don't have to worry about dealing with the rain. The waves and the clouds, different story, because I think the cloud bands will be large enough to impact our weather and kind of give us some faded sunshine by Thursday. And then as the storm center, again, only a couple hundred miles offshore, throws back some big waves. We'll see those beach erosion type waves, the large crashing waves that could close the beaches as well as soon as Thursday into Friday. So going into the rest of the week, there will be some clouds hanging around through Wednesday with that chance of a shower, and then it warms back up with more humidity come Thursday and Friday. Sunshine back on the board for Saturday, but I think Sunday could see a little bit of wet weather. So again, one of the last few weeks wrapping up summer, unofficial summer, before we get to Labor Day weekend. I think the last weekend before Labor Day brings back a sunny start. Could be some rain on the tail end by Sunday, but a warmer day and a warmer weekend with temperatures back in the 80s. So still feeling like summer is not going out just yet, even though we have a little bit of a cool start to this weekend.
Very good, sir. All right. Yeah, no, definitely. It's like kicking and screaming as it's leaving, but for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mike, we will check back, sir. Thank you. At 8:34, we have 67 degrees now throughout New Jersey. Let's take a look if we can at Route 21 at 46. This is eastbound we're looking at right now. You can see just a little bit of volume. This would be in the area near Belleville, New Jersey. You could kind of see the volume there moving on. Sorry about the blurry cam. That just happens sometimes. That's the world of digital. This is the way it comes in. So it's actually, it gives the impression that there's a lot more traffic than there is because it's all blurring together, but it is what it is. We have a vehicle fire that has been extinguished eastbound 280 at exit 12. That's pretty much lightened up now. We saw that last camera shot before and it looked like things have opened up. Everything is off to the shoulder. Water main break reported 182 northbound at East Avenue in Hackettstown. All lanes are open, just a brake check through there. And I-80, we have a crash eastbound at exit 47B, Route 46, Parsippany Troy Hills, with the right shoulder closed. The Hudson River approaches right now, Lincoln and Holland, easy 10 minutes, and the GWB upper and lower right now moving very well, as you can see. That's about a 10 to 15 minute crossover time to get into Manhattan. 8:35 is our time, and the worldwide chip making industry is huge. As I knocked my microphone, excuse me, with many expecting it to be a $1 trillion industry in the next 5 years. How a chip maker performs can have implications beyond sales because it can impact the security of a nation. Remember, whoever produces the better chips, you have the better technology, etc. Well, just last week, President Trump called for the resignation of chip maker Intel's CEO, prompting a meeting. And now at least one published report says the Trump administration may look to have the government take over at least part of Intel. To explain the details behind this is brand and digital strategist Fisher, who can be found on X, Threads, and Instagram with username @Fisher, and through his website, fisher.media. Good morning, Fisher.
Good morning, Ken.
See my Italian hands always going, knocking my microphone all over the place.
I
It was
laughed.
nice
That
and
was
sad.
fun.
Because you only know me 30-something years. So
That's right, which
if you
this next line is going to be perfect for that setup. Back in the day when I was known as Willie B. Good and you were known as Ken Rhodes or Smokin' KC Rhodes, Intel was like the big chip maker, right? You'd hear
Correct.
Intel everything. You couldn't get a computer without Intel chips in there. Intel Inside was their logo. It had the little special jingle that came every time the commercial came on.
Bum,
And
bum,
as you
bum,
mentioned,
bum.
the trip. Yep. Yes, exactly.
Bum, bum,
See,
bum,
it's
bum.
ingrained in our heads. Thanks,
Yep.
Smoking KC Rhodes.
Thank you,
The
sir.
Trump
Yes,
administration
anytime will be good. Anytime, sir.
the old radio names
Sorry,
from
I
back in
do.
the day. Yeah, so the Trump administration is rumored to be in talks with Intel for the U.S. government to potentially acquire an equity stake in the struggling chip maker to support its domestic manufacturing efforts. The deal aims to bolster Intel's planned facility in Ohio, which was once touted as the world's largest chip-making facility, but has faced multiple delays. And the move reflects the administration's strategy to intervene in industries critical to national security, as you mentioned, similar to deals with NVIDIA and MP Materials. The discussions follow a meeting between President Trump and Intel CEO Lip-Bu Tan, which occurred days after Trump publicly called for Tan's resignation over alleged ties to Chinese firms and the Chinese government itself. CEO Lip-Bu Tan has scaled back Intel's manufacturing ambitions here in the United States, slowing Ohio factory constructions to align with demand, potentially conflicting with Trump's manufacturing push. Now, again, the administration is considering using funds from the 2022 CHIPS Act, under which Intel previously secured $8 billion in subsidies for factory construction. Intel has faced challenges, including loss of competitive edge to TSMC, which is made in Arizona, a weak AI chip market presence, and quality issues with manufacturing processes. Analysts suggest government backing could provide Intel time to revive its loss-making business, but may not address underlying competitive gaps. And the White House does note that discussions about hypothetical deals should be considered speculative unless officially announced. Intel shares rose 7% in regular trading last week, and an additional 2.6% after hours following the report of the potential government investment. It is quite a 180 for Intel after being a leading chip manufacturing. But when you're hearing about AI advancement, Intel is not part of the game. Apple, a couple of years back, removed Intel chips for their own proprietary chip. So Intel doesn't have the footing that it had years ago. And as analysts say, and people have been wondering, will this investment actually help anything, or are there so many underlying issues? Now, the issue about the CEO, besides his ties to other Chinese agencies or companies, Senator Tom Cotton has asked the question, has he divested from those companies as well as any investment or ties to the actual Chinese government? It's definitely dicey, but in typical Trump fashion, you ask him to resign and then you go in for the negotiation.
Yeah, that's usually the starting point. The starting point is I'm going to blow you up till your cells are all over the universe, and then he's like, "But come on in and sit down and have a little cup of coffee. We'll talk." That's he always speaks hyperbolically. This is why the liberals can't stand it, because they don't grasp that they still haven't. If you read The Art of the Deal, that's everybody's homework assignment. If you don't want to buy it, you can get it online. Download it for like 30 cents. Okay, read The Art of the Deal. You will learn 90%. Not 100, but 90% of President Trump and how he functions. That's it. It's as simple as that. You will learn, but nobody on the left seems to want to do that. One thing, though, that I know that it's more than just the technology. Certainly, that's the vast majority of it, and they're way behind NVIDIA and all the others now, the few others. But also, there's the issue of rare earth minerals too, right? Isn't that getting more and more difficult for them to source? And you have companies like NVIDIA just scooping up, and Tesla, corporations like Tesla. Tesla has its own like rare earth plant, this chunk of land, I think in Nevada. Tesla bought up all of it. And so they have all these rare earth minerals for themselves now.
Well, besides the government, the companies also have to make deals with other governments in order to source those materials. Right. So yeah, so it's a big issue. And again, when you have the NVIDIAs and the TMC and all the other chip makers in the lead so far, will Intel be able to be saved? But it is a national security issue. We need to have those chips made here in the United States. Intel has processing and plants elsewhere, obviously, but this Ohio plant that has not progressed as fast as one would hope was supposed to be kind of the foothold of the United States chip making facilities, along with TMC in Arizona, TSMC, excuse me.
Sure. And I had been reading over the years about how companies like NVIDIA had been raiding the intelligentsia of Intel for years. So they just kept picking the top intelligent, folks, the smartest people.
Offering them a $10 million bonus or whatever it is to come over. Yeah. And,
who wouldn't go over?
Yeah, they have the top. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I would.
So that really poses a problem. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Bill. Fisher.
I said I would go if they would like to call. My website will be underneath.
Yeah, 10 million. Why not? That's your signing bonus. That's your signing bonus. See you later. Yes. Hey, love you on New Jersey. Meet it. But we really take for granted how serious this is for our national security, because when you look at AI and the exponential rate at which it's increasing, I mean, I don't know if you heard the story we did earlier of Meta AI producing a fake romantic figure that an elderly man who had cognitive issues, he thought it was a real woman. That's how real this AI has gotten to him. Now, you and I might say, we wouldn't buy it, but if somebody who's slightly cognitively impaired and older has now bought that, how long do you think it's going to be before something is so real that you and I, you, the computer guy, are going to buy it?
Well, I mean, some commercials today, because I dig in on YouTube and Instagram and watch these videos. Some of the commercials that you see today that look real, I mean, real, are not. They're all AI. And that's the way it's going. But yeah, national security is more of, we just don't want chips made in China and they can spy. Look what happened during the pandemic. I need to have my coffee this morning, where we couldn't get shipments to the United States from places. We were fearful in 2020 whether or not the new iPhone would be released, right, or the Apple Watch, or any Samsung product, because chips were made overseas. So having those chips made here is important. Tariffs obviously hit differently when you're importing them from different countries, but when they're made here in the United States, the prices stay lower. So there's a lot to that national security besides we just don't want Chinese chips in our phones and they can be, they can spy on us and things of that sort. It's actually having those goods in the United States for lower costs and for, not worrying about shipping issues and things of that.
All right, brand and digital strategist Fisher, who could be found on X, Threads, and Instagram with username @Fisher and through his website, fisher.media. My friend, as always, thank you for joining us this morning.
Have a good day.
You too. It is 8:44. We have 66 degrees, and when we come back, it's back to school time. Many families in our area struggling to figure out how to buy those school supplies for their kids. We'll talk with the Salvation Army about how they've stepped up, as they always do, to help. Cloudy, cooler, less humid today, highs upper 70s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta returns with your full Garden State forecast. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We'll be right back. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:45, taking your calls at 888-658-0234. Cloudy, cooler, less humid today, highs mid to upper 70s. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with our final check of the morning of the Garden State forecast. Sounds like an Irish greeting. Final check of the morning with the Garden State forecast. Good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning. Top of the morning to you, Ken. We've got a really pretty start to the day. Lovely weather to begin our morning. Cloudy, but a little gray and cooler than mornings past. In fact, we'll warm into the low 80s with some sunshine returning across just northern New Jersey later today. I think most of central and southern parts of the state stay cloudy into this afternoon as we keep it dry. We've been dry for the last month or so, have an underwhelming amount of rainfall statewide. That's brought some areas less than 2 to 4 inches in terms of rainfall over the deficit over the last 30 days. Want to focus in on the wave heights of Erin. You see this large blob here working up the coast. These are the 10 to 20 foot waves that'll be offshore, meaning that some pretty large waves will be crashing onshore by Thursday into Friday. So most of that will linger into the weekend, and then the waves ultimately calm down into the end of the weekend and early next week. So plan on some beach closures and keep an eye to the flags along the water, especially if you head out toward the water by this weekend. Cooler than average at the coast here in New Jersey, and then by the time we get to the end of the month, we should make up for some of that rainfall. Could come as early as Wednesday with some wet weather moving in midweek. Clears out by Thursday with some more humidity, slightly warmer, back closer to average throughout Saturday, and then another round of rain for Sunday. The shore points will be a little bit cooler with those clouds, especially through Wednesday, but also slightly more humid. And then Thursday warms up with the effects of Erin offshore. We'll likely see some high, thin clouds. And of course, those big ocean waves crashing on shore, likely some beach erosion mixed in there as well. Saturday and Sunday looking more pleasant with lots of sun. So a nice, decent way to wrap up the work week and start off the weekend with some sunshine, Ken.
All right. Thank you so much, Mike. 8:47 is our time. In terms of traffic, I'll just repeat the camera for Pam. We do have something here going on to the Outer Bridge crossing. So this is NJ 440, Pam, at 63rd Street, cam number 1, if you could. We have an issue right now reported on the Outer Bridge crossing, a disabled vehicle on the Outer Bridge the westbound side. So that is coming into New Jersey with the right lane block. So that's, yep, that's it. That's them headed into, coming into New Jersey. You can see right now it's just a bit of a brake check, but that might mount as the morning goes on and cause some residual traffic in the other direction as well. We have a water main break reported on 182 northbound by East Avenue in Hackettstown. All lanes are open. Again, brake checking through there. Crash on I-80 eastbound by US 46, Parsippany Troy Hills with the right shoulder closed. And we have delays on the Garden State northbound from south of exit 89A, which is Route 70 in Lakewood Township, to north of exit 90. It's about a 2.5 mile delay, all due to volume. The approaches to the Hudson River crossings right now, about 10 minutes at all three, the Lincoln, the Holland, and the GWB. 8095 approach, you can see, moving pretty well. 8:48 is our time, and as the new school year approaches, the rising cost of school supplies is putting a strain on families across New Jersey. But thanks to the Salvation Army New Jersey Division, nearly 6,000 children statewide are heading back to class with confidence, equipped with brand new backpacks and essential supplies. Captain Darrell Houston of the Salvation Army joins us to discuss their statewide distribution events and the impact that they're making. Captain Houston, thank you so much for being here this morning.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You bet. I love the Salvation Army. You are always there, especially in communities where a lot of other charities don't even bother coming in to help. And you have always been the stalwarts. You're always there helping out the most destitute in many cases, and when the biggest crises happen. And right now in New Jersey, you have so many families facing that average. It's $875 in back to school expenses. When we were kids, so I'm older than you, wasn't 875. That's a lot of money. So tell us how the Salvation Army school supply distribution events, why they're so critical for New Jersey communities, and how you all decided to get involved.
Well, thank you for your support. We really do appreciate it. And you hit the nail on the head. One of the benefits and privileges that we have as the Salvation Army is that we don't have to come into communities to support them. We're already there. And this is just a part of our support for our broader mission year round to meet human needs and to provide these essential services to folks in our communities. And you know, like I know, that the more prepared you feel and the more prepared you are, the better chance at success you have. And we want to provide that for the kids in our communities around New Jersey.
Yeah, that's so essential. My mother was a teacher and an administrator in schools, and my mother-in-law was a teacher for decades. And my mother-in-law worked in a district in South Florida that was very poor. And every year she used to have a little fundraiser with the family and friends to raise money. And she would put money out of her pocket and buy kids everything from notebooks and pens and pencils and erasers because they had nothing. These kids had nothing. And you're helping 6,000 kids across Camden, Vineland, Kearney, Newark, places where kids really, many of them come to school. They're lucky they can get to school in the morning. Can you walk us through what families can expect at the distribution events and how they're organized?
We're really excited to be able to provide these opportunities for the kids because it's not just equipping them with supplies, but it's also preparing them to be confident and prepared in the classroom and establishing that dignity. One of the things about our distributions is that we like to say in the office, we're looking to make impact, not just contact. So as the kids come to our facilities and to our sites, they're going to be able to see all these backpacks lined up. They'll be able to choose their backpack. They'll be able to select their supplies. It's not just going to be a bag handed to them, but they're going to have a say in it. And it's going to be wonderful that when they get to school, they're going to be proud of what they have and be able to start on a good foot.
I love that. I love that. That's what a difference, and the confidence that gives when you start them off on that footing of being excited to come to school because they don't have to feel embarrassed and shy away from the other kids. I got exactly what you got. We're all going to start out the same. That really makes such a big difference. That confidence level gives them a fighting shot, if you will, at being a success in their school career. And that's so important. The kids should have to worry about nothing else but their school studies. They shouldn't have to worry about all those other stresses. Share a story, if you can, Captain, from one of the communities that you're serving that highlights the need for or the impact of these distribution events.
Oh, absolutely. When I think about specifically here in Newark, New Jersey, and we have such a diverse community and a variety of needs and grade levels and schools, that oftentimes populations and pockets of kids get overlooked. I think specifically about some of our older kids who, because they're not as small as some of the younger ones, they tend to get overlooked. But
Mm.
what we recognize is that they oftentimes need supplies that are larger and more expensive and more burdensome on the families, which is why it's so important for donations and folks to visit us at our website, salvationarmynj.org, to be able to help us provide these supplies. I can remember specifically of a young man who needed a scientific calculator. And when we looked up the calculator that they needed in class, it was $85 for a calculator for a single class. Some schools are able to provide these resources, but others aren't. And that's where we step in to come alongside families to make sure that because of finances, no child should have to go without.
Wow. Unfortunately, or at least I'm hoping that today the Chromebooks and things like that can access that stuff online. So hopefully that doesn't, that sort of is the new substitute for, I remember the scientific calculators back in the day, but it's just how daunting a thing that might be if you have destitute poverty and you're being told, oh, by the way, you need this for class, $85, and you don't even have food for lunch or for dinner, whatever. You go home and you're struggling like that. That must be terrifying for a lot of kids. Really scary. And I think a lot of people, by the way, I want to mention this, Captain, anytime we have someone from the Salvation Army on, I always want to point out a lot of people don't realize that the Salvation Army is a church, right? I was a Catholic priest. I always looked at everybody in the Salvation Army as you are literally putting your money where your mouth is, so to say. You are out there doing the ministry that you're called to do. You do such an amazing job. You are just, you're the Holy Spirit exemplified on earth as far as I'm concerned with what you do. You're known for doing the most good beyond the school supplies. What other ways is the New Jersey Division supporting families as they prepare for the school year?
As families are getting prepared for the school year, we're recognizing that there's a holistic need. That while the children may have backpacks and supplies, we want to make sure that they come home to homes with food in the refrigerator and in the cabinets. So we have our pantries throughout the state, our choice pantries, where folks can come in, again, restoring their dignity, not just having a bag thrusted into their face or chest, but being able to come in and select the items that they know their family needs and be able to have a healthy meal every single day. Based on some of the supplies that we're able to provide. Additionally, as you know, we ramp up for the different seasons. We just came off of our summer camp where thousands of kids from around New Jersey were able to attend for a week to get away and go into our wonderful Camp Tecumseh in Pittstown, New Jersey, but to experience a opportunity that maybe otherwise they wouldn't, to get out into nature, get from in front of the screens and really just connect with other young people their age and being guided by people that really care about them. And we're
That
always
must have been
continuing to
amazing.
ramp up. Yeah, it was a wonderful time. My daughters also went, so that was
Aw.
fantastic. And every year we ramp up getting ready for Christmas as we continue to provide opportunities and cheer for families around that time as well.
And I know a lot of people donate, they donate clothes through the year and whatever, but a lot of people they only think about donating food, canned food and whatnot at like Thanksgiving and Christmas. There's a need year round, right? So if you want to donate, I'm sure non-perishable canned goods and whatnot, I'm sure you guys would accept that year round quite happily, or donations, cash donations go a lot farther, I'm sure, or a lot further, I should say, for the Salvation Army, because where the resources are best needed. Am I wrong on that?
You're 100% correct. And with the different opportunities and youth music programs and sports opportunities we provide, those dollars, along with the supports that we provide for families, give opportunities to kids to better themselves in a variety of ways.
Absolutely. My nearest that I always go to is the one in Patterson. Whenever there's any donation, I come down to the Patterson location. God bless them all, and they're all such good people there. I love them. So for families who may still need help, or families who want to get involved, because you don't have to get into the ministry, right, and work up in the ranks. You could also volunteer in other ways. How can people do that to help out the Salvation Army?
There are many ways to help and to serve in your community. And I think the easiest way for folks to find out what's closest to them is to visit our website at salvationarmynj.org, where we have not just the supports we offer, but also listed many volunteer opportunities in a community near you.
And if you could talk to some kids right now, Captain Houston, what would the message be that you hope, or kids or their families, take away from all these events as the kids are heading back to school?
we want to just make sure that every child knows and their families knows that if there's anything that they need, they can come to us. We're here for them. We're part of their community, and we love them.
And you know what? You're a very special man, and Salvation Army is a very, very special organization. God bless every single one of you, and thank you for what you do every day. Captain Dorrell Houston of the Salvation Army, New Jersey Division, thank you. And my best to everybody who you work with. And thank you for helping make a lot of kids feel a lot more secure as they make their way back to school. God bless you all, really.
Thank you.
Thank you. It is 8:58. What a special organization. If you haven't recently donated to the Salvation Army, think about doing that. Any little bit helps. You can go on their website, make it $5 or $10 donation, or if you could afford more, do so. They could really use it. It is now 8:58. We have a temperature of 67 degrees. It's going to be cooler, less humid today, cloudy, highs upper 70s only. And that's on New Jersey Mornings for Monday, August 18th, 2025. I'm Ken Rosato. See you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.